Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to take a look at a Shadow Bastion team here that got TA2 Teal Legend here. I think it's a Japanese player. They apparently do also go Battle League YouTube, so definitely check them out. We're going to have here Shadow Alligator in the lead. We're going to have also the Cresselia as well as, of course, that Shadow Bastiodon. I think this team kind of works like you cannot really want to win the lead, try to invest as many shields as needed to win the lead, and then try to line yourself on the back. And honestly, the team actually worked out quite well. The thing is, it took me a little bit for this team to really work well for me. So I think I had a positive set in the beginning, then I think I had a 2-3, and now currently I'm at 3 wins in 1 set, and I still have 2 more battles to do, so we have to see how that's gonna go, but most likely with a different team. So definitely a very solid team to use as well. If you have a Shadow Bastion, this might be the team for you. Also, I'm still very close to Legend, so maybe the next team might be already my Legend team. But also, I don't know, maybe I make another video about this as well. Apparently, there's currently a fix towards Go Battle League in the newest update, and this might fix most of the frame drop issues right now, which is going to be hopefully very impactful, because right now the game is still not in the best state. But yeah, apparently the version 0.3 to 1.1 is apparently fixing most of those issues. So if you can update on your Android, might want to try to do that, because I saw already a lot of people confirming that the update at least going to make the gameplay way better. But anyway, we're going to see here the Shadow variant of Bastiodon going to be able to go up against that Venusaur, so we can take 2 moves and the opponent just decides to forfeit anyway. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have that great lead of Thackery. They're going to swap out into the Dragalge, and I feel like I misplayed this battle as much as I could, to be fair. But here I shield up an Awkward here, which is guaranteed resisted damage, so like, why did I do this? I have no idea. I decided to go for the bait, which is, I guess, kind of fine in this situation. And I'm going to try to sacrifice my Cresselia now, because at the end of the day I have 2 good answers against that Thackery and 1 Pokemon that is quite weak to it, which is my Cresselia. But I should have played it completely differently. Like, what I should have done is get the energy, keep the energy, swap out into my Cresselia, have a great time, and just try to soak up anything from the Dragalge. And I still have like 2 good answers against the Thackery in the back anyway. Like this, I'm going to be stuck in the matchup here with Cresselia that I don't really want to be in. The opponent gets a million energy. I can still go for some Moonblast. But the good thing here at least is I can align my Bastion guaranteed, and I still have a ton of energy on my Alligator stored. So we're still not in a bad spot, because all the energy that they just got, like the 100 energy, kind of goes to waste now, because Bastion is going to be able to completely lock them down, and depends on what they have in the back, we're going to be in a decent spot. They still try to go for a Sky Attack here, have fun with that, double resisted damage coming through. It's going to be in the back a Guslord, which I can try to go for an Ice Beam against. That's actually the main reason as well why I kind of wanted to go ahead and go for Ice Beam with a Crunch on my Alligator. And as we're gonna see here, we're going to be able to resist that Dragon Tail. Brutal Swing does not even have the chance of dropping the defense compared to like Crunch, what maybe would have been a savior for the opponent here. And so we're going to be able to just take another move, go for a Stone Edge, knock them. I don't think we knock them out with that, but I think we're going to get them quite low with that, which is going to be quite nice as well. And so 2 more False Moves, all it takes to knock them out. We still have a shield left. They only have a Thackery. I can use a shield here. I would have been able to swipe anything anyway. And that Sky Attack is going to get shielded and the opponent goes down. Next opponent though, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have the Azumarill on the lead here, which is going to be quite a neutral one. And you kind of want to stay in here and just play it out. You win this always in the 2-shield scenario as far as I know. Unless, I guess, like most of the time you win this in the 2-shield scenario. I think if the opponent shields up early, you know, they might be able to win this in the 2 shields, but most of them just let the moves go through anyway, and then Shadow Claw is just chunking away of the health. And we just generate energy faster, we need less energy than the opponent, and while this is going to be not the ideal matchup in general, it's going to be one that you're usually going to be able to win. And as you're going to see here, the opponent is going to be forced to use a shield. We are going to use our shield again, and as said in the beginning as well, this team is kind of built around winning the lead and then trying to align yourself. That does not help against something like a Magnezone. Also, again, there were like frame drops. Again, we have to see if the new version is going to be better. I still have some battles left that I can do for the day. Hopefully, it's going to maybe help me also with my Legend push. Anyway, the opponent decides to go for a Mirror Shot, going to not get the debuff against me. I would have liked to have Future Sight in this case here on my Cresselia, but Moonblast is still going to be okay. We're going to get the attack drop even onto the opponent, which can be quite impactful, as now we should be able to survive 1 Wild Charge from them. which is quite nice. This can help us out quite a bit as they decide to go for another mirror shot. They should be kind of energy dry at this point. They try to go for the full farm down with that Bastiodon, but it doesn't work out. And they're going to have a Shadow Gligar. Shadow Gligar is something that they can actually beat with that Bastiodon, but honestly make a little bit of a mistake here. What I did is I swapped out into my LilyKatchum to try to catch a potential dig, which in theory could be a great play. But what we're gonna see now is we're gonna get them low anyway and knock them out, and they still have a move stored on the Magnezone. I should have just swapped out straight into my LilyKatchum against the Magnezone. I would have won the battle, because either I get the knockout with the Shadow Claw or they're gonna waste their energy, but like this we sadly lose. So this was a winnable game. Like, this is the thing as well. I feel like most of the games that I recently lose are not always around like the team comp itself. Of course, they are going to be team comp losses as well. But I feel like this time around, it was quite a lot of times as well where I just like didn't play correctly. And this kind of happens as well if you don't know a team in and out. And this is why you should stick to a team if you have a team that you really enjoy and don't like try to play like a different team every single day. Unless of course you have fun with it. Like, if you want to have the best results, sticking to a team is quite important because you know all the matchups then. Anyway, we're going to see the Azumarill swapping in here. That's going to be kind of nice for us. We were able to still store one charge move on our LilyKatchum, and we're going to be able to kind of wall the opponent's Azumarill. Here still they do neutral damage. They might have Hydro Pump, which would chunk quite a bit, which you're going to see here as well. But Cresselia is going to be able to tank this move. I know some people are not having access to Cresselia, but honestly, I think in the last year there were 2 quest lines before like that were able to give you just a Cresselia as well for Great League level without having to trade. So while yes, of course, if you just start off the battle or like just start off Go Battle League, or you took a break now for a year or whatever, yes, it's going to be difficult to get, but I don't know, I feel like it's still kind of Pokemon that you should have already at this point. And also, if you have like people to trade with, like people maybe at like some events that you don't know, and you just ask them for a Cresselia at level 20, you also have a very high chance of getting this ready for the Great League. So for sure, something that you should try to get if you can get it. But again, there were also several quest lines already that gave it for you at level 15, which guarantees it to be below 1500 CP. And so it's not really a Pokemon that I would consider as like difficult to get. Anyway, we're going to see here the opponent's Skarmory. I don't think they're really here anymore. I think they rage quit the battle, and that is fine as they had no chance anymore anyway. We're going to have now here one Mantine against us, which is not really ideal. We're going to try to swap out eventually into our Cresselia, which can take the energy a little bit better. And they actually decided to go for a charge move, which I'm quite happy about, because what this is going to allow us to do now is we can take that Water Pulse, we can go for a Moonblast, we're going to be able to get off a Moonblast here. This is going to hopefully do some nice damage. It does. And like this, the Threat Shock is going to be quite unaligned. They swap out into the LilyKatchum, which is kind of fine for me because we still have that Bastion in the back. And Bastion is going to be a great matchup against this Pokemon. And so what we're going to try to do is we can have some more frame drops, because why not? Like, frame drops are always kind of delicious. We can go for that Moonblast, and so we can swap out into the Bastion, locking them completely down, go for the full farm down. Yes, they're going to have a neutral damage here with power coming through, but at the end of the day, while we're Shadow and take a little bit more damage, it's not really too hurtful. Like, honestly, it's not really hurting us at all. They're now out of energy as well, and we can just go for the full farm down, have a charge move stored. We still have all our Pokemon, but they have a Whiscash there lurking, and this Whiscash is basically the worst possible Pokemon I could encounter. Everything of our Bastion is going to be resisted, where they can knock me out with one double super effective Mud Bomb, which is not ideal at all. They are still quite low, which is hopefully still something that we can take advantage of. We're going to try to go into our Cresselia to force them to use some energy here with the Scald. And now it's down to our LilyKatchum and even more frame drops. Again, I really hope that the new update kind of changes things around for that, but again, maybe there's going to be another video towards it, kind of addressing this before you see this video, but I don't know. We will see here the Mantine coming in against us. We can use a shield. This is going to be quite delicious, as the Aerial is going to get shielded up, and I think we can just go for the full Shadow Claw down, and we should be able to win this battle with that. Let's see if this is going to work out. They decided to go for the Aerial, and they survive with like 2 HP, get another move off. And honestly, like, Aerial the Wing Attack, kind of something that is a little bit busted right now. There's so many good Pokemon right now in the meta that have like this move combination. I really hope that Niantic kind of tackles this next season. I can see that they don't do this, but I don't know. I feel like I actually looked through all of the winners of the last regionals in the Play Pokemon tournaments, and out of, I think it was like 30 teams, 29 had Flying type Pokemon in there, and I think like 3 were not having a fighter in there. So like basically in the current meta for at least like the show 6 pick 3 format, you have to kind of have a fighter in there, and you have to have kind of like a flying type Pokemon in there. That's been the case for the last 3-4 years. And I kind of really wish that Niantic kind of maybe spices up the formula a little bit and goes a little bit on a more different road that's not like always the same meta Pokemon. I feel like it would be kind of cool. Anyway, we're gonna see a Gastrodon here, but only for a short period of time, because I don't think it's going to enjoy this Moonblast, as it's going to one-shot them. Goodbye there. They still have the Annihilate in the back, and I think at this point they kind of just gonna give up anyway, because that Moonblast is going to land, and they were just like, yeah, good game there, and nothing really they want to do again anymore. Next opponent, Shadow Whiscash. That is going to be quite a neutral matchup for Feraligatr. We both do a neutral damage. They're going to be able to go for that Mud Bomb, which is chunking quite a bit, but not too much that I'm really too scared about the opponent here, as we are going to be able to win this in a 2-shield scenario guaranteed. Unless, of course, they would go for a Scald, I think, twice and get like a double debuff or something like this. Then they might be able to win it. Any other case, we're going to be able to take home, else we will get to another charge move. And again, this team is kind of built around trying to align itself with a lead matchup. And here is still actually going to decide to swap out, because we have 2 decent answers to Dugong in the back, and I kind of really thought that the energy that we have on the Feraligatr still can come in clutch against whatever they have in the back. And as we see the opponent go for 1 charge move and us going for 1 charge move, Switchcock is going to be unaligned again, and so that Annihilate is here to stay for quite a long time. And so we can go for 1 charge move, do get the shield from the opponent, and we can try to reach another one. And honestly, I make a mistake here. I should have used the shield. I didn't think that they would go for the charge move straight away here with the Shadow Ball. I thought they would go for Night Slash bait. But yeah, this is definitely a big mistake by me, and kind of gives the opponent an opportunity to come back from here, as they can go for a charge move even against my Bastion, get another Shadow Ball off. All of this was totally unnecessary, as the opponent tries to go for the Icy Wind bait. And this is going to be a good game. So we can still go for a Stone Edge, but again, could have ended this one way earlier if I played it a little bit better. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have the Empoleon in the lead, which is going to be quite a neutral matchup. You kind of win this also all the time in the 2-shield scenario, but the opponent decides to swap out into the Goodra, which is okay, but it is quite a trickier one, and honestly, I don't think I played it right. I should have stayed in for a little bit with my Feraligatr, trying to get the energy up again, because like, now the opponent has an Empoleon with a ton of energy and has a Goodra that's gonna be able to get me into farm down range for that Empoleon. And I'm not in a great spot here. I have to say I'm not in a great spot with my Bastiodon. I can still try my best, of course, go for a Flamethrower, but I cannot really misplay this one. But also I feel like it's a little bit tough to deal with Goodra Sasops. Maybe actually I should have tried to go ahead and go into my Cresselia instead, but I didn't. And so let's see what the opponent gonna try to do here. They have a ton of energy, Drill Pick coming through here as well, and they're going to have a Wigglytuff in the back. Wigglytuff is tricky. Like, they are of course going to double resist our first move here, and we are forced to go into our Cresselia, as I can try to reach that Grass Knot straight away, because Grass Knot is going to do enough damage to hopefully 2-shot them in the long run. They're going to let the move go through, even, which I found kind of confusing, because at the end of the day, they're going to go for Icy Wind the entire time, and wouldn't have been smarter for them to use a shield early on if they want to use Icy Wind anyway. But I can go for that Moonblast here, gonna get the shield from the opponent, and we had a little bit of an awkward spot because I don't get this Grass Knot off. And honestly, I should have just tried to go for double Grass Knot. I think I would have been fine with that. Now I'm forced to use another shield, but we don't have shields anymore, and the opponent has some energy, and like, yeah, that's all a little bit tricky, as they can now knock me out, and sadly with that they're going to be able to win the battle. And again, I feel like there was a lot of potential in this battle. I just was not capable of really playing the team ideally. So, well, yeah, of course, like, this team maybe has some weaknesses as well. I definitely feel like most of the loss came more out of my own mistakes that I did than the team itself. I think the team is actually quite nice, but honestly, I didn't really recognize this when I was playing the battles as well. But now looking at the battles back again, I feel like there were quite a lot of things that I could have done differently for the next time. And that's good, like, that's just good, like, showcase again that the team has actually so much more potential than maybe I can showcase here either. But as you see here, the opponent has a Lantern, and honestly I like this matchup quite a bit, because what we're gonna do here is, we're gonna try to force bullshit from the opponent and still punish that Lantern before they can go for another charge move against my Feraligatr, as we can reach out for that Hydro Cannon. This is going to be a Steam P-Tile, which we can win. Now the opponent is standing there with no shield, And yeah, us having a Feraligatr against them. A Feraligatr, one of the Pokemon that is the most versatile in terms of what it can beat, because there's next to nothing that can really hardwall this thing. We are going to be able to go up against an Obstagoon though, which hardwalls the fast move, and so it's going to be a little bit of a tougher one. We use a shield, Night Surge coming through, and of course I get the double boost immediately. How could they? It doesn't help them though, because like this, we can go for the knockout and align that Bastion against the Azumarill, which they're going to decide to forfeit now. That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.